Welcome folks to my newest Let's Play. Now you might ask the question, why did I want to do this game? But let me ask you a more important question first. What does the name Commandos bring into your head? What picture does it portray? What word, what sentence, what imagination brings it up? What image, whatever brings it up in your mind? There might be two factions separated here. The first one saying, what really? Commandos? I can remember this game screwing up my whole childhood because I tried so hard to get this game done and I couldn't. It was just so painful, so hard. And the other faction might say, Commandos? I have never even heard of this game. But I'll go along and watch it with you and just look what it is. So, that's it. What faction do you belong to? I don't know, but I can tell you, this game is for both of you. Because I'm going to explain the whole game process right in this video. I'm going to make this about a tutorial video as much as I can. So, let's go into a few details about the game. In Commandos you commandeer 6 different soldiers, 6 specialists if you will. All of them specialized in their own field of technique. So let's have a look at the individual guys. First off, we've got the Green Beret. He's more of the Rambo style-like type, although he doesn't carry a machine gun or a chain gun or whatever. He's got a knife with him, so he can stab enemies from the back. He can climb up walls or other segments of a castle or towers or something like that, so he can get to areas where other people can't. He's got a shovel with him, so he can dig up into snow or sand in deserts, for example. He can take barrels with him. Barrels normally contain explosives, so if you shoot them they kaboom somewhere in the middle of an enemy group or near a building, so you can blow up buildings with barrels. We'll see that actually quite soon. But the other aspect about barrels is you can hide bodies under them, so if you stab an enemy from behind and move a barrel above his body, the body will be gone. Oh yes, it will be gone. No one sees it. But, okay, so you can use barrels for disguises, so to speak, the bodies. Other than that, he's got a decoy radio sender with him. So if you lay that down on the ground, you can attract the enemy's attention, meaning that sometimes, not all of them, I have to say that, just in case, not all of them, patrols come running to it, or standing guards can be distracted with it to look that way, or even run to the place where that thing is and look the way it's placed. So that you can take to your advantage. Trust me, it's very, very useful. Next up, we've got the sniper. He's got a precision rifle with him, and when you activate it, you have 2 options. The first one would be the reticle stays like it would be normally, so you see all colored. The other way is it turns red. So what does it mean? If it's colored, you can shoot where you just aim or look at with the reticle. If the reticle is red, then you can't. So that means, for example, if you stand behind the fence and aim into the fence on the other direction, you of course can't shoot on the other side. So you have to move to the right or the left to see the area you want to shoot at. Have to be careful about that. Also, there's only limited ammo for the precision rifle. Sometimes you find additional ammunition during the mission. Ah, that rhymed. Very nice. So, first aid kit. Sometimes the sniper carries the first aid kit, but only if driver or spy are not on the mission. Next up, we've got the Marine. He's the, well, let's say, special ops diving and transportation guy. He also got a knife, but don't use it that much because, well, he's just slow running, so he's the slowest of all the characters, and I normally try to avoid that as much as possible. He got a harpoon with him. With the harpoon, he can shoot targets from range. It's also a silent method. Oh yes, I probably forgot to say, knives are silent methods to kill enemies, so no alarms sounded, as well as the precision rifle. So yeah, you attract no attention with it. The harpoon also attracts no attention. Has about a range of 1 or 2 centimeters on the battlefield. Then he's got his diving gear, which he can enter in shallow water and also go out in shallow water, but also can go into diving while he is on the boat. The boat, on the other hand, is inflatable, so you have to go to shallow water, press T, then the boat is inflated. You can climb onto it and carry other men to, let's say, to the other side of the river. However, if the Marine drops off into diving gear and swims off, that's a bad decision, because your men can't commandeer the boat. Only the Marine can. I guess these soldiers are too stupid to use paddles to go onward. I don't know, it just works like that. Don't ask me why. It does. Also, the boat can be shot down by enemies, so be careful about where you place it, because if it gets shot, it just... all the air is going out, and you have to put it back in your knapsack, put it out again, and then it's repaired. Magically, I know, but still. So, watch your boat. Then we've got the sapper, which is more or less the explosives specialist in the team. He can also set a man trap, which is a very interesting method of getting rid of lonely patrolling guards. Put it in the way of the patrol, wait until he steps into it, and he's eliminated. Then he's got pliers, which can be used to cut a hole to fences. Sometimes it opens up new ways that your men can use, so you come from behind or from the sides, so a guard can be taken out without too much trouble. He also has grenades with him. They might be quite useful against enemy groups, you might think, but beware, they make a lot of sound. Alarms can be sounded through them because the enemy is getting aware of them, but sometimes they're really useful. For example, to detonate bombs or to detonate an explosive barrel. So they have their uses. And he's got 2 different types of bombs with him. Time bombs explode after 11 seconds of in-game, and remote detonate charges can be, well, remote executed. So you place them on the ground, push another button, and it goes kaboom! Sometimes explosives are in both variants on the mission, so you have to decide what to use where, but most of the time it's just one type of explosive and that's it. So you can not decide what to use, but you are prepared to just use one type of explosives at a time. Next up is the driver. He's got a submachine gun in addition to the pistol. By the way, a pistol has been assigned to every possible person in this game, but you shouldn't use it that much because it makes noise, so it attracts enemies' attentions, and in missions where there are alarms it is most deadly because the enemies just come out rushing out of their barracks and attack you, and most of the time you can't stop them. So pistol's not a good idea in crowded enemy territory. So submachine guns, yeah, can shoot multiple enemies at the same time. Shoots in an arc-like, well, range, so to speak, but it's probably not that useful. Again, enemy groups sometimes, yes, and at the beginning of the game, but normally you should avoid it as best that you can. First aid kit, he carries it normally when he's in a mission, and he can fire from armed vehicles and enemy gun posts once you take them over, and it can control left click on the map where you want the vehicle or the gun post to shoot at, only of course in range of the turret or the vehicle. So you can move the vehicle to, yeah, go to a different position and then control click where you want to shoot. Last but not least, we have the spy. He's also a guy who can make silent kills with his lethal injection, like a syringe with poison. And he can move bodies and take bodies up from the ground, just like the Green Beret. But he's most of the time used for getting an enemy uniform that hangs on clotheslines. So if you get close to that, you can take the uniform, get around, and use it by pressing U. You can use the uniform to distract enemies. So you can, for example, talk to a patrol. The patrol then looks your way, and while they are doing that, you can move past with your people, or you could just prepare an ambush for them. Just as you like. The spy is definitely one of the best persons in the game because you can do everything with them. Unfortunately, watch when you shoot enemies with a spy or use your injection on enemies with a spy, because if he gets detected, most of the time he fails to be disguised afterwards. So you have to run around the corner, reuse your disguise, and then go back into the enemy sights, and then there shouldn't be any problem. But if he gets detected while doing a hostile action, most of the time he will get shot. Also, he carries the first aid kit when the driver is not around. So, some other things I want to talk about first before we start in the campaign. We've got a map on the top right screen, also a notepad, so to speak, that has a few tips on it. Can be accessed with Control B. You can pan and zoom the camera, although mostly just pan, not zoom. You can have multiple windows up by pressing F2 to F7. Sometimes I use them, most often I don't, just because I have actually a good overview of the map, so most of the time I don't need it. Target camera moving, lock the camera on a moving target. You can do that, but most of the time I don't need it. You can do it in those little small separate windows explained with F2 and F7 before, but yeah, as I said, most of the time I don't need it. You can drag a box around your guys, so you can select all of them at once. Can be quite helpful if you want to move everyone at the same time, although you just have to be careful about the movement speed of your people. The Green Beret, I think, runs the fastest, and the other guys just progressively get slower, so I think the Marine and the Sapper are the slowest guys, and I think Spy, Sniper are middle somewhere. So Green Beret faster than Marine, and Sapper slowest. But what is most important is on the left side. You can click with Shift on an enemy, then left click. You see the field of view of the enemy, and I think Commandos is the first game that actually used it. The light green area is the area where he always sees you, and the dark green area is when you crawl, you won't get spotted immediately. So you can crawl in the dark area as much as you like, but if you stand up, they come for you. Sometimes, of course, you can use that to place ambushes, but most of the time you should avoid standing up in the dark green area. Movements, yes, if you click once on the ground with the left mouse button, they walk. If you double click, they run. If you right click any time when you make an action, it gets cancelled. Pressing C and S, you can crawl and stand up. Pressing H, you can take object, like, I don't know, the decoy radio transmitter from the Green Beret. You can operate object in the scenario by moving your mouse over barrels or vehicles or buildings, so you can enter them or take them. So the driver is, for example, entering a vehicle by pressing on it, and some other people can enter buildings by pressing on the door with the left mouse button. You will then get a small portrait or photo displayed on the right hand side. When you click it, the commando exits the building or the vehicle, depending on what you do. Also, you can right click if you have a barrel picked up, so you can drop it again. If your man gets captured, for example in barracks, you have to go back to the barracks with another guy and left click on it to use the door, so the prisoner gets free. And that's about it, actually. So, when we come back, folks, we'll be starting a new campaign. So, see you then, soldiers. Dismissed.